What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to a special episode of Talk Your Talk. And man, people would have never thought this would have happened considering our history. Mr. Rob Zero is in the building, man. And I hit Rob up, man. Rob says, man, he got a lot to say. So we going to get into it after the Talk Your Talk intro, man. We're going to let Rob do his thing, man, while we tune in and give you guys some of this content, man. So we'll be right back.
Racing Kev, Racing Man.
All right. We are here and we are ready to listen and maybe learn something from Rob Zero today. You know, Rob comes up with some crazy things sometimes and goes off the hinges sometimes, but hey, sometimes your worst enemy becomes some of your best friends.
He go off the hinges? Nah.
But Rob, man, just talk to him a little bit. Let him know what you got going on. Shout out your platforms and everything. Let them know what you got going on and where they can catch you at. And then, man, we're going to get into some of this talk, man. So go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Appreciate y'all having me on to do it. You know, you guys can catch me on X, real_R0B. We host daily spaces for the most part that go for hours upon hours talking about every possible, scenario, whatever you want to call it, thing with the Giants. It's going to be getting obviously kind of hot right now with free agency coming up and the tag deadline tomorrow. So, so you can catch me on there. I'll also be streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/R0B. So you can catch me there as well. TikTok, R0B. And then I'm going to try to get back into doing the YouTube and stuff like that. Same thing, R0B. You guys can catch me on there. So that's where you find me. That's where you be finding me on the X streets, mostly. The X streets.
X streets, all right. So basically, speaking of streets, man, there's a topic out there that's hot in the streets with, unfortunately, all three of us are Giants fans, and it's been kind of sad to be a Giants fan for a long time.
I'm on medication for it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hey, some people act like they are on medication out here. I'm gonna be honest.
Depends on what kind of medication
really
we talk about.
Yeah. Right.
Depends on what type of medication. However you self-medicate, you self-medicate,
But
whatever you got to do.
The topic of, and we've had our spats about this, about the whole Daniel Jones fiasco and everything back in the day. And it was about, I would say, at least 4 years. Every Giants fan you can turn to was saying, we have to draft a quarterback. Even just last year, everybody was saying we should trade our whole draft to go up to number 3 with the Patriots to select Drake May. So we are in a situation now where we have the number 3 pick and we can get one of these quarterbacks. And now everybody's pulled their Uno reverse card. And I've seen in these X streets, as you say, that you've been getting a lot of flack for some of the things that you've been saying. So this is the platform. I'm gonna let you talk your talk, man. Talk to us about this whole situation.
Get him, Rob.
Yeah, dude, for me, bro, again, like you said, we've had numerous amounts of conversations, especially about the Daniel Jones situation, got into spats on spaces, what have you. And, now we're in this position where we can get a quarterback, and you got a bunch of people now that are backtracking on things that they said, just a year ago. And it's not just one person, it is multiple people. It's multiple people. I personally didn't hear this, but I heard, from people over with the Talking Giants, right? I remember them giving their breakdown like last year. Bobby Skinner was all for Shedeur Sanders, right? Was raving about him. Now it's, I don't want to draft him. Oh no, he's not good enough. But this is the same guy who said Michael Penix isn't going to be a franchise quarterback. This same guy who said that J.J. McCarthy is going to be a franchise quarterback. This is the same guy that for years said, we can get this for Daniel Jones, we can get this for Daniel Jones, and was literally advocating for things to make the offense better, right? To make the team better around Daniel Jones. Now look, I was a Daniel Jones supporter at one point, right? Now I changed my opinion. Where I think to me is that if you changed your opinion because you had no other choice but to change your opinion, and then you have an opinion, or you're kind of backtracking a little bit, then to me, I don't respect that. I changed my opinion in 2022. I supported him for 3 or 4 years. I made every excuse under the book, the receivers, the line, the coach, the offensive coordinator, all that. And I said, you know what? I've seen enough. And from that point on, I kept the same groove. I kept the same shit, right? I wasn't up until last year saying, we could do this with this guy. We could do this with this guy. He could do this. Or I've seen this. Or I've seen that. And then all of a sudden, last year goes up in fucking flames, and now it's Brian Dable should get fired. Joe Shane should get fired. This, that, and the third. Now this guy ain't, to me, you ain't got no business saying who should be a franchise quarterback or not, in my opinion. But you are. I'm just minding my own business. I'm on the timeline, and all of a sudden, the topic today is Shedeur Sanders is getting bashed. Well, that shit happens all the time, right? Around this time of year, mainly quarterbacks, they always get bad raps. People got a problem with it because of his dad or because of his interviews or this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden, people want to say, he's overrated. He ain't gonna amount to nothing. He ain't gonna be no good. Where are you getting that from? Did you watch him? I actually watched some Colorado games, and I could show the all 22 film that I have downloaded on my computer that I watched. Of all 22 film of Shedeur Sanders, of Jackson Dart, of these guys that are on my computer that I was watching. I talk about these guys all the time. Now, do I know everything it is to know about Shedeur or Cam Ward or this, that, and the third? No, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know everything, but I think I know enough to where I can make a general opinion and be confident in my opinion, but call out somebody else's. You've got, I see no basis on you saying that this dude is overrated. And if you're coming out there and you got an opinion and saying he's overrated, or I don't like this, I don't like that, no, it's not because you don't like him, it's because you don't like his fucking dad. That's you got a problem with the way his dad goes about his business. That's really what it is. You got a problem with Deion Sanders being vocal, and he's just being a dad. He's just trying to protect his kid, but he's been in the business. He played in the league for 15 years. He was a part of the broadcasting NFL Network. He's got plugins with inside the NFL. He knows the game. You don't think he should do right by his kid and say you need to watch out for this? You need to approach it this way. You know this and that. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to let him do what he's got to do. I just don't like where people draw up these narratives, and then you're going to take a little Todd McShay, little clip talking about some dumbass fucking owners or people that whoever he talked to, Todd McShay, talking about, Shedeur didn't take it serious. It didn't seem like he cared about, what the organization thought about him, yada, yada, yada. And then you're going to run with it. See, I don't like his demeanor. I don't like his vibe, or I don't like this. I don't like that. What? People even had an issue with him getting on the podium and saying, if you don't want to change your culture, don't draft me. Hello?
Isn't that what the fuck we want?
Hello, Giants. Last time I checked, we need a fucking culture change. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do I need to hold up a fucking sign right here and saying, hello, this is New York Giants. Now, 925 Giants Drive, whatever. We need a culture change. Oh, I don't like that he said that. So what? I heard people saying, "Oh, I wish Daniel Jones would say more. I don't wish he wasn't so quiet and so this and so that." Oh man, when he yelled at fucking that wide receiver in Jacksonville, man, I love seeing that. I love that fiery, that brimstone, that this and that. Now you got a quarterback that's out there saying, "Look, if you ain't ready to change your," and now let's talk about that for a second. Let me go off topic. Let's talk about what that culture means. Culture means. He ain't going to go in there and start telling, yo, Shane, you need to do this. Dable, you need to do that. John, you need to start doing this. He ain't coming in and running it, but it's about running the meetings, being in there on the offensive meetings, the quarterback meetings, on the practice field, off the practice field, in the weight room, being a leader, changing the culture and how he does it. This is how I do business. I listened to Dion talk about, I think it was on the Rich Eisen show. He drove up to the Shrine Bowl, drove there, right? Got there. First thing he did was go to the field and practice. Threw the ball, exercised, got his workout in, then showed up and did all. The dude's got a routine. When you come in there, at this particular point, I can honestly say this quarterback room, they don't got no damn routine. They don't got no vision. They don't got no blueprint. They don't know what they're doing. And some of the greats did it. Tom Brady did it. Mahomes is doing it. Lamar is doing it. Allen is doing it. When you come here, this is how we do business. I want to be great. I want you to be great with me. This is what we're going to do to be great. If you want to be great, this is how we're going to do it. If you just want to coast or you don't want to put the work in, then maybe this is not for you or this is not the place to be. But this is how I want things to be done here with this organization. That doesn't mean the finances, putting a retractable roof. No, it's just strictly the practice field, the meeting rooms, all of that stuff. Why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want that? I don't get it. People don't like it. People don't like it. Now, and then so people say, "Oh, you like Shador? Why you hate Cam?" I defend Shador when somebody. Oh, but tell me why. Like I just had somebody ask me, "Well, why do you hate Cam?" Did I say I hated Cam? Did I say I hated Cam Ward? No, I didn't say you. But let me ask you a question. Why aren't you bashing Cam? I can reverse the question. You asking me why I hate Cam? Why? Because you're bashing another quarterback that I'm defending. Cam is not a part of the fucking conversation. He's not. I never said I hated Cam. I like Cam. I think both of these guys bring equal qualities that you can build off with inside your organization. I love the fact that Cam Ward said, people that don't pick me, people that doubt me, they're going to be paying for it. I love that. I love that he said that. He's got this quiet temperament where he'll give you subtle, very, very subtle little things, little nuggets where it's like, okay, like he means business. And he might he puts it out on the field the way he plays, right? Maybe he's not like that big vocal guy in front of the camera. Maybe he tries to be a little bit more humble, calm, and collective. Shador is obviously very well spoken. He doesn't hold back from saying what he wants to say. But there's nothing wrong with that either. There is nothing wrong with that at all. Both of these guys can transform your franchise. Both of these guys can do it. Is their game different? Hell yeah. Shador's more of a pocket guy. He can use his legs. He doesn't have like the strongest arm, but he's got a good arm. He can make the throws. When you look at a guy like Cam Ward, he's athletic. There's no question he's a more athletic quarterback compared to Shador Sanders. That doesn't mean Shador can't run, but he likes to play hero ball. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You got a little Brett Favre in you. You got a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in you. You like to roll around, throw the dice, and throw a late. I don't mind with that. I got no problems with that.
But that's what these fans asked for. True or not?
I mean, it is. It's what I've been asking for. It's
That's
what
a
I've wanted. We've literally had these talks where I was like, dude, I want somebody that is going to play above the X's and O's. If I want somebody that's just gonna call this play, like if it's ask Madden, then what good is that gonna get me? What good is that gonna get me asking Madden? I don't want you to just go out there and run a play. I want you to be able to go out there and then when shit goes left, you can make something happen. Obviously you're not gonna do it every play, but when shit breaks down, you're like, oh fuck, like I know that you're gonna do something with it. I've seen Shador do it. I've seen Shador, a play breaking down, rolls out to his right, and threads a needle between two defenders where his receiver could only catch it and throw a touchdown. I saw Cam Ward do the same thing, rolling out to his left, twist his body, and throw a laser, threading it between two defenders for a touchdown.
He did it twice against us, the Florida Gators.
You can't coach that. That's not coachable. You either got it or you don't. It's either in you or it's not. These guys are ballers. Plain and simple. So to me, these guys are probably right on par, and this is not something I've said, but this is something people that I respect where they compare again, they know more than I do, where they put them on the level of Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy last year. Mm-hmm. If you were okay with taking those guys last year, why are you not okay with taking these guys? It don't make no sense to me. It really don't.
Maybe they were saying it because they knew that we weren't going to take Michael Penix. But the thing that's really, really baffling me is what happened with all the quarterback talk that you have to get a quarterback at all costs. And then all of a sudden, Cam Ward and Shador Sanders are 1-2. Now all of a sudden, it's go after the oldest quarterbacks that you could think of. So that's why I'm going to get to this little subject here with you. Let you talk your talk a little bit more. As you see right here, Mr. Rob Zero, right here in the X streets, as he call them, he says, I hope for the love of God that he goes there and we trade up to number 1 and have our choice of Sanders or Ward. I am good with either, but I lean Shador slightly. This is a reply to Mr. Doug Rush, who he says the Raiders have now emerged as a current front runner to acquire Matthew Stafford in a trade. So basically, I want you to tell us about the whole Matthew Stafford saga. What do you think that was done for? Did you think it was a good idea? Just give us the whole idea of the Giants were trying to trade for Matthew Stafford and quote unquote they were ready to sell their souls to get a 38-year-old Matthew Stafford coming off injuries and not having the best season this past season until it picked up towards the end of the season for him. And quote unquote give him over $110 million more dollars guaranteed and giving up multiple picks for a team that does not have a quarterback and needs draft picks. But go ahead, talk about that.
According to Rich Eisen, the Giants had everything in place. They had the draft compensation in place. They had the contract in place. Everything was good. Everything was agreeable. Matthew Stafford just said, no, I don't want to go there. He didn't want to come to us. And good for him. He shouldn't. At his age, like you on the doorstep. You on the doorstep of the conference championship game with a way better team. You best not come here. But look, I'm not gonna lie. When it first came out, I was like, okay, I was with it a little bit, and because for me, from my mindset, I wasn't thinking about them still not taking a quarterback if one was available. Mm-hmm. The more and more that I was talking with people and other people had different opinions that they thought that if they got Stafford, that they weren't going to take a quarterback. And yeah, you know what? That changed my opinion a little bit. I said, and so I kind of changed. And at that point I said, you know what? No, I don't want this because if that's going to be the case, then because I understood what they were saying, I don't want no parts of this. I don't, because to me, I'm not going to offer up draft compensation on top of giving this guy a contract.
Right.
That the dude's been toying around with retirement. He's still a top 10 quarterback, top 7 quarterback, right? It would be the best quarterback we've had on this roster since Eli left. But what if he comes here and then after 1 year, he's like, I'm done. Now we're stuck in the same position we were just in. Now, I'll say this. I understand. I don't agree with it. But I understand why they did it. Because John Mara brought these guys back. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I gotta win. I gotta win. I gotta win games. And it's not every day that a Matthew Stafford is available. So I'm gonna try to get this dude. I understand it. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And so I didn't want him because for me, I didn't want to I felt like it was just putting tape over a freaking leak in a hole. Mm-hmm. And eventually it was just going to bust. It wasn't going to hold and shit like that or whatever. Like I wanted no part of it. And so, I wanted him to go. I wanted him to go to another team like the Raiders, like you saw in that, or go back to the Rams. I wanted him out of the possibility of the Giants getting him, right? A buddy that's that comes in my spaces all the time, said, he's like, I need them to be protected. So it's like you take a sharp object away from somebody that's in a mental hospital, and so it's like you gotta take the sharp objects away. So that was a friend Ask who said that, and I thought that was hilarious when he said that. That's not my joke, but he said that. I was like, man, that's actually kind of funny. He's like, I can't trust these guys. Take the metal objects away. They they can't be around
like
it.
Somebody I know.
So it's like, so I didn't want it. Now you got this Rodgers shit, that's going around.
Oh my God.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing. I'm not banging the table for Rodgers, but I'm also not closing the door on Rodgers either. Like if they bring him in, they bring him in. If they don't, they don't. I'm cool with Rodgers, or I'm cool with Wilson as well, Russell Wilson, because I feel like both of those guys shouldn't stop you from going ahead and drafting a quarterback. I don't believe that they should stop you from drafting a quarterback. And so I think at that point, if I got to deal with Rodgers for a year, Devontae Adams for a year, I don't have to give up compensation, right? I just got to sign him to a contract. Adams, I don't have to trade for him. I just got to give him a contract. And so you got Rodgers, Adams, Neighbors, Tracy, a rookie quarterback in Cam or Shador, and you got the rest of your draft, and you got your free agency and all that shit. Like, I'm cool with that. I think Rodgers is going to win you games. I think Wilson is going to win you games. And that's ultimately where I believe they're at. I think they want to double sell John Mara, saying, look, our quarterback room last year was terrible. It was bad. And we're going to do it the right way. I'm going to get a guy that can win us games right now, but I got our future waiting right behind him. And what we're going to do is I'm going to build up this team. I'm going to draft have another year draft. I'm going to get some key additions in free agency, And the goal is it's not for this guy, but what people were saying, like with the neighbors pick and all that stuff, it's for the next guy. That's this year. What I do now is I'm providing a team for the future. And you've got the future. The future is right there. You drafted it.
Let me ask you this, Rod. Because we've had conversations about this regime and Brian Dabo and Joe Shane. What you just said, it's logical. I'll give you that. It's logical. But you think that this regime has done enough for you to accept that shit from them?
No. They have.
Because White NYG says, I think these guys are sellers of hope. And I think you're just letting them get away with wasting more of your time. First and foremost, Aaron Rodgers is nowhere near the quarterback that he used to be. And I think he's way too much of a head case and way too much of an a-hole to bring over here to this roster. Because he's going to come and do Aaron Rodgers things. You already said it. If we get Aaron Rodgers, most definitely you're signing Devontae Adams. Do you think Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and you're a cap guy, do you think they're worth a lot of our cap this year? Because their money is going to be up front. There's no pushing back money on Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams. There's not. So
when it comes down to it, and I don't know how much Devontae is going to cost. I really don't. I don't know how much Devontae is going to cost. I know that if he gets released, I don't know, like, I got to see like what his cap is going to be. But the way that I ran it today, because I did it today on a space and I was live, the way I did it today was if we restructure Burns and we release guys, 3 guys, Graham Gano, Nacho, and we go ahead and we release Josh Azudu, okay? Applying the money for the draft picks, we'll have about $63 million in cap space. Now, I think that those are realistic moves that the Giants could actually make. I think those are realistic moves the Giants could do to get a little bit more cap space. And what I did with that money today, I signed Byron Murphy, and I did this all on Spotrac through a program thing that they've got where you can sign the market value and everything like that. So I signed Byron Murphy, 4 years, $88 million. I signed Russell Wilson, 2 years, $77 million, which I think is probably roughly where Aaron Rodgers' money would probably be, like 70, 77 million, somewhere probably in there, 80 million maybe for 2 years. That's probably roughly where it would be at. I signed BJ Hill. I signed an offensive lineman. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Wolf Fries from Indianapolis. I signed him. His market value was like 4 years, $56 million. And I also made a signing that, and I'll say it here, to upgrade at the safety position. Trayvon Morey, who's scheduled to be a free agent from the Raiders. Don't know if he
Justin
gets
Simmons, but I like him too.
I don't know. See, but the thing, I don't mind Justin Simmons, but Justin Simmons is older. Morey's 25, going to be 26. He's played a lot of football, so he hasn't really missed a lot of time. Morey's played the last 2 seasons, the full 2 seasons, played all 17 games, played 1,100 snaps in each of those seasons, been at 90% of the, almost like 98% of the snaps on both. So, and he could play the high safety. I think if you could play an over the top, play the high safety, move Newman up front a little bit, let him play in the box, kind of move him around, maybe more like a Julian Love when he was playing up in the box a little bit, I think that would be good. And that was an additional signing that I had. And I was like 3 years, like 38 million or something like that, or whatever it was. So at the end of that, I had like 20, I think it was like $25.9 million left over. So you figure even if Devontae, depending on what Devontae is going to cost for like 1 year, what's he going to cost? 1 year, $13 million? I'll do that. I'll do a 1 year 13 or 1 year 12 or something like that. Still keep myself over $10 million, for the season, for in-season moves and shit like that. If you need to, like you're gonna have the money to do that, So, I to be honest, I don't know if Devontae is gonna demand a high amount, because I think right now, if once they cut him, he's got like 35. Like if somebody were to trade for him, they owe him like $35 million.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I think that if he's going to get released, the Jets are probably paying some of that. So you might be able to get him for a little bit less. So that's my thought on it. I don't. At the end of the day, when you ask me, do you trust these guys? I don't trust these guys. I don't think that they're the right guys for the job. But at the end of the day, as of right now, they're here. And I can't do anything about that. They're here. John Mara chose to bring them back. So at this point, I'm not going to go into this year hoping for a demise at this point, unless certain things happen. If they go into this year and they punt on quarterback and they take Travis Hunter and they sign, if they were to sign Aaron Rodgers and take Travis Hunter and get a Tyler Show or something like that, or a Jackson Dart in the second round, I'm out. I hope that these guys get fucking embarrassed the entire fucking year. But if you get Cam or you get Shador and you get a Rodgers and you bring in Devontae and you draft well and you make good free agent signings, I'll support you all year long. Go out there and win. And I hope that they win enough games where these guys got it right. They had a good draft 2 years in a row. They made better signings. It's clear that they made better decisions. Okay, what are you going to do next year? Because I think if they draft a quarterback, they draft Cam or they draft Shador, I think they're back next year anyway. I do. Mm-hmm. I think that they're back anyway, because I don't think that John Mara is going to want to do the Daniel Jones thing again and fire these guys. And I think he'll actually say that, well, I didn't want to, do what we did with Daniel Jones and we get rid of Shermer or whatever. I felt like it was best to have these guys come back and get a second year with the guy that they drafted and everything like that. That's what he's going to do. He's going to tell that to Art. He's going to tell that to Dunleavy. He's going to tell that to whoever. He's going to tell that to Garofalo. He's going to say it to everybody right there on the fucking little practice field. That's what, just like he did this year. Because last year, around the, I need to see significant improvement. Oh yeah, John, really saw a lot of improvement last year. Really did. 3 wins. You went from 5 to 3. Wow, great job, John. Your team did fantastic. You even said you don't even think the team is better than before these guys got here. But they're back. They're here, John. You brought them back. You said it, John. I didn't. So at this point, everybody's saying, oh, this win mandate. Oh, he brought them back. They need to win. This guy is full of shit. I think this guy's got like early stages of dementia. And he probably forgot what he said. And he's like, oh, I never said that. What are you guys talking about? I really think he needs to be evaluated for dementia. Yeah, he probably forgot.
I just think the guy doesn't know football. But hey,
he don't.
We're going to get to a quick commercial break. And we're going to get to Rob Zero. Because, man, he might have to wear a 50 Cent vest in these X streets, man. We're going to be right back after the commercial break. And more Talk Your Talk with Rob Zero, man. Let's get it.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
All right, we are back. We got Rob Zero still in the house. And so let's get to a little Rob Zero's world over on X. So there's a guy out there that's been, trolling me and guys like Rob Zero out there because we support a New York Giants taking a Shedeur Sanders high in the draft in this upcoming NFL draft. And this little exchange right here, he says, "What the F are you talking about, man? Some dog shit franchise is talking shit about a young man. Wow, that really says it all. Stop with the BS, bro. Now I know why you wanted Stafford so bad." So we are going to actually listen to what Miz was actually showing Rob Zero. Let's go into it.
The two people that I spoke to were in meetings and had these individual meetings that I just laid out to you, what they are, who's in there, and why they're important. Teams in the top 10 drafting that need a quarterback. The two people that I spoke to in these positions left the meeting feeling like Shedeur Sanders was not overly concerned with what they thought of him. They had a 15-minute meeting with them, and when they were done, they both said in different ways, different words, that they did not feel like Shedeur Sanders cared all that much about what that organization thought of him. Fascinating, right?
Right. And that's not said in any kind of a positive light, correctly. It wasn't like they came in there and he knew who he was and he wasn't concerned about impressing us. It's more of a negative tone, the way you're saying that, right? You're saying it in a way that he did not come in with, ready to impress, ready to show us what kind of a young man he is, what kind of a leader he can be, all of the positive things. That's what you're saying, correct?
This was not okay. I'll make a joke in a second. But I do. All right, so let's go through this in the right order. A couple of the quotes that I put in there. One said that it wasn't a professional approach. One person that I talked to said the best way I can describe it is it just wasn't it wasn't a professional approach. Shedeur Sanders did not take a professional approach to this interview. The other person I talked to said he wasn't taking it seriously at all. I didn't get the sense that he was taking it seriously. So when you hear it wasn't a professional approach and you hear he wasn't taking it all that seriously, that's not the interview that you're looking, it's not the response you're looking for from a potential suitor, from somewhere you plan to go play. Now, I think it's also important, because I'm sure people pull clips and have all sorts of things to say. It's very important, and hear me when I say this. There was no bad behavior. There was nothing disrespectful said or done. There was no kind of altercation. And it wasn't like Good Will Hunting when Ben Affleck went in for Matt Damon and put his feet up on the desk and yelled, "Retainer! Retainer!" Like, it wasn't that. So I'm not trying to overblow this to try to get clicks and people get, this is not a viral moment. I don't care about the attention this gets. It's just our job to relay the information and the intel that we're getting from people that are important and make decisions or part of the decision process from the teams that are looking to draft a quarterback and have a high draft pick.
So that was the clip that particular person sent to you and say, "Hi.
Gotcha.
You're talking about, I got you. This dude is overrated. He's not professional and blase. He wears a backwards hat and he says, I want to change the culture. If you're not ready to change the culture, don't draft me. I was a part of a team that came and changed Jackson State and Colorado, made them relevant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." You have that reaction with that person, and I want you to just elaborate on what's the issue with you and this person, if there is an issue, and why do you think he did it?
I personally don't have an issue with the person per se. I have an issue with in the manner of which the person draws a conclusion, and in the manner of which they go at a specific player because they may not like that player for such and such reason, right? For instance, me and that person, along with the two of you, were in a setting just like this, talking about Bill Belichick and how Bill Belichick would be coming here, right? We even talked about Shedeur Sanders, which I believe at that point he was on board with Shedeur Sanders, right? Go get you a Shedeur Sanders. Ba, 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 ba. Now it's he's overrated. He's outspoken. He's this. He's that. Now listen, if you over watching highlights or whatever grew a liking more for a Cam Ward, that's fine. But don't put down another guy like Shedeur and say these outlandish things and then to prop up somebody else like a Cam Ward. And then to ask me in a DM, why do you hate Cam? I never said I hated Cam. I never said I hated Cam. Everything that I tweet out about these quarterbacks is go up to one, get Cam, get Shedeur. Have your choice of either one of those two prospects. I'm good either way. I slightly lean Shedeur because I like the way I like certain things about him. I like it that he plays the game from the pocket, but can extend the plays with his legs. I like the fact that he likes to speak out and say certain things. I like his swag, so to speak. That's not saying that Cam doesn't have swag or nothing, right? But I lean more Shedeur. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I like his blowout afro that he's got going on, with his uptown fade. I don't know. Like whatever you want me to choose, I'll choose it. If you want something specific, right? I like his haircut over Cam Ward's, right? Whatever you need, you know what I mean? But don't put down this other guy when just a month or two ago you were for this guy. So what changed? And then, like the little old man in the Geico commercial dangling the dollar bill, Matthew Stafford is on the edge of a fucking fishing rod, and you got to be quicker than that. Like you jump on that like flies on shit, right? Like I don't get it. And this person, again, I don't have an issue with this person, but this person jumps on every possible jumped all over Bill Belichick. I would talk about Bill. I didn't want Bill. Whenever I talked about Bill and him coming here, I talked about it from Mara's perspective, why I think Mara would do it. It's not what I want, but this is why Mara would do it. He was all for Bill Belichick coming in here. He was screaming for the heavens. The Drake May was the guy. The Drake May was the guy, blah, 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 blah. But meanwhile, Brian Dable, I love Jaden Daniels, right? Now, yeah, they attempted to go up there and get Drake May, but it is what it is, right? Then this year, it's go out there and win games with Daniel Jones, blah, blah, blah. You're not a real fan if you don't support the quarterback and this and that or whatever. And then it changed when we started losing. You realized the dude was dog shit. All these guys or whatever. Then the GM and the coach are bad. Oh, were they here? Let them get their quarterback. They deserve it. They this, they that. Like, what are we doing? Like, your opinion changes like a woman on her period changes her tampon. That's what it is. It's like pick what it is Pick what you want and go with it. And go with it. Right? You can get you can have an opinion and you could talk to somebody and they say, "Oh, you know what? I didn't look at it from that viewpoint." You know what? When you bring that up, it gets me thinking a little bit. You know what? You're right. You know what? You're right. It doesn't make sense. Or vice versa. You can do that. That's not against the rules. But when you find a new, it's like finding a new itch to scratch every fucking week.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like what's gonna be the scratch next? Like the Vikings aren't tagging Sam Darnold. That just came out. Is Sam Darnold gonna be your new itch? We should go get Sam Darnold. We should sign him. Look at what he did with Minnesota. We should sign Sam Darnold. He could be the guy, right? Bring him back to New York. The Giants, they'll treat him right, unlike the Jets. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Like, so I don't vibe with that. I don't get down with that. So I call BS on it. And then I found something else where you had I think it's Emery Hunt or Hunt Emery or something like that, saying he spoke with multiple executives who raved about Shedeur Sanders, raved about his interviews, raved about what he said at the podium, raved about all of it, and this and that. And so I tagged him on that. I said, what about this? What do you got to say about this? You've got somebody else now that's saying, I spoke with executives and they love him. They don't got a problem with it. He did a great job. They're all for it. Are they full of shit? And let's be real, because we had these conversations. I think the media part, if I'm wrong, correct me. I think the media, access to the media comes before you sit down with the teams, or maybe it's afterwards. I don't know. But if I had to guess, I would say, because we had these discussions, those teams that probably made those comments to Todd McShay are probably teams he don't want to fucking go to. And that's probably his way of kind of like saying,
You know, those teams are at the bottom of the draft. They're not out of the top 10, out of the top 6, 7. Deion Sanders did the same thing. He's like, "Oh, you number 26? Well, I'm not going to be there."
Todd said that they were in the top 10.
They were in the top 10, so...
And Josina Anderson also said top 7. You know, that some people had negative things to say within the top 7. Well, the teams that are in the top 7 that need a quarterback, Titans, Browns, us, Jets, Vegas. That's it.
So you know it's not Vegas. You know it's not us.
I don't know if it's not Vegas. I don't know if it's not Vegas.
Oh, Tom Brady's at Vegas. That's his boy. So I know it's not Vegas.
I don't know. I don't believe that it's us, just because I spoke with somebody and they told me specifically that Brian Dable has spent the most amount of time.
That's a fact.
With Shedeur.
Yeah.
That's his guy. He likes Shedeur. That doesn't mean he don't like Cam, but they had more access to Shedeur. He was at the Shrine Bowl. Cam was not there. This is the first time that they were able to get around Cam other than going to games. Dable's not going to college games during the season. He's focusing on coaching. Joe Shane only went to a couple of games, which he said. He's probably watched film. But I know Shea Tierney's probably been around him a little bit. But I know Brandon Brown's probably been around there. Tim McDonald's probably been around. They've been to those games. Those guys have been and seen more of Cam than Joe Shane has. So now you've got an opportunity to get in front of him, talk to him. And now I'm starting to see, Giants, they're going to trade up to 1. Cam Ward. You're starting to see these little tweets and these little things coming up. He wasn't. I guarantee you would have been hearing this stuff if Cam was at the Senior or the Shrine Bowl. You would have heard it. You would have heard it because they would have been there and they would have been talking to him. But Shedeur was there. So what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? They just saw him 3 weeks ago, And now you're at the combine and he's there again. You know, like, it's like, oh, man, what's up, man? Like, it's like, dude, come on. So, but I heard that Brian Dable likes Shedeur, and he spent the most amount of time with Shedeur Sanders. So, and the other thing to this is, I get why people say that Cam is a better fit for what Brian Dable wants to do. And I think they're basing that off of the 2 years with Daniel Jones, the running and the RPOs and the read option, all that stuff. But why would they want to bring in Aaron Rodgers, who's not really a mobile quarterback? Why would they be intrigued on that? Why would they want to bring in a guy like Matthew Stafford, who's not really a mobile quarterback, who is a pocket guy? What does Shedeur do? He's decisive in the pocket. He can dissect a play. He understands. He plays the same way. So I don't think there really is a preference. I think fans want to make a preference on who fits what, but and they may have a favorite. That very well may be true. They may say we like Cam because of his versatility. It gives us another. I ain't gonna be the one to say no, right? I mean, shit, that'd be good for us. Cam being able to run the ball, Tracy in the backfield. Hell yeah, sign me up. But you know what else helps your running back? A quarterback in the pocket that knows how to dissect the play, who knows how to check from a pass to a run, or from a run to a pass, or that can read a defense and dissect shit real quick. That helps out everybody. Helps out your line, helps out everything. So everybody wants to make their own little things, and that's fine, but you don't need to tear down. And then you hear people saying, oh, well, John Mara, he doesn't want Shedeur because, 20 years ago, they wanted to give Deion Sanders some fucking test and he didn't want to do it. So, John Mara has a bitter taste in his mouth. Fuck Shedeur. Fuck Deion. He doesn't want no part of it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, do you really think that he gives a flying fuck that Deion didn't want to take a test when he was coming out in the draft?
It's dumb, bro.
It's dumb. Like the stupidest fucking things ever, that you can make up. It's so dumb. Look, at the end of the day, I don't know what these guys are going to do. I really don't. These guys are dumb. They do stupid shit. So I don't know what they're going to do. They may very well walk into this draft and say, you know what? We signed Aaron Rodgers. We got Devontae Adams. Fuck it. We're going to take Travis Hunter. They may very well do that. They may. And you know what? I hope that they pay the fucking price for it. Because at that point, at that fucking point, I hope that what happened with the Jets, that this motherfucker comes in here and implodes this fucking organization and goes on the Pat McAfee show and sells you guys like a cow at an auction and sells you guys fucking off, dude. I hope he does. So, but at the end of the day, my heart of hearts tells me they're trying to cover all of the bases. They're trying to get a guy that's going to win games right now, but they also want to set themselves up for the future and provide a plan to John Mara. And ultimately, I think that's what happens.
All right, man, you've been hearing it from Rob, man. We're going to take one more commercial break, and we're going to get Rob's last thoughts to wrap up this episode of Talk Your Talk with Mr. Rob Zero, man. It's not safe for him in these X streets out here, man. But
nah, man, I'm fighting for my life. Fighting for my life, man.
But we're going to take this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Hey, sure, you at home right now and get back in there and kick your It's your guy. What you gotta say to the camera? Yes, sir. You play the Giants. Going as all you want to. We built for this shit. We don't fold, motherfucker. We don't fucking fold. Son, I got that in this.
All right, man, we are back. And Mr. Rob Zero, man, thank you for coming through, bro. Man, give us your final thoughts about this whole fiasco about the New York Giants and this quarterback situation, and just give us your last thoughts, man, before we get out of here.
Look, I mean, Look, I would say when it comes down to it, you can make an opinion. You can have a specific one that you like. You like Dart. You like Milrow. You like Will Howard. You know, you like Cam. You like Shador. You can like whoever you want, but you don't have to tear down a young man and speak him out his name, right? You don't have to make some egregious statements and shit like that. It's bad enough that these young men have to deal with the pressure of the media painting them a certain way. They don't need it from people like us on social media either, right? So if you like a specific person, you can talk about why you like that person for X and X reasons without having to say, I like this person because I don't like this guy because he's overrated, because of the way he runs his mouth, because of his daddy, because of this, because he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, shit like that or whatever. You don't have to go that extreme. Keep it about football. Keep it about football. Keep it about the X's and O's. I like Cam because I like the way that he can extend plays, use his legs. He's got a strong arm. He can throw the ball really fast. Whatever you want to say, do it that way. You don't have to tear down somebody else to prop up somebody else. Ultimately, what I think is going to happen is I think there's a reason why the Tennessee Titans are trying to get these 30 visits in early. This is the first time that a team has done them this early. And I think they're trying to figure out what they want to do. Are they going to go quarterback? Are they going to go Carter? Are they going to go Hunter? I think that the Giants are going to have their opportunity to choose one of these quarterbacks. Either it's at 3 or they're trading up to 1 to have their pick. Ultimately, I think we're going to sign a guy like, could be Rodgers, could be Wilson, could be Winston, could be Wentz, could be Jimmy Garoppolo, could be one of these guys. And they're going to get their guy in this year's draft. Everything points to it. Everything points to it. So if they don't, then
that's a fact, bro.
Fangul Bultanio to both of these guys. So
get ugly.
That's all I gotta say.
All right, so man, that has been Mr. Rob Zero right here on Talk Your Talk, man, on the Aboriginal Sports Network. Gonna be bringing more shows like this to you guys. Hey, you never know what content creator be on here. Hey, some people call me your favorite content creator. Hey, they say that about Rob Zero too. But this has been the Aboriginal Sports Network. This has been Talk Your Talk. Rob Zero, man, appreciate you coming in, talking your talk.
Of course.
Let them know where they can find you, and then we're out of here, man.
Yeah, you can find me on the X streets. They be rough sometimes, but real_R0B. Find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/R0B. TikTok, R0B. Everything R0B, except for everything is just R0B, except for X. It's a real_R0B. But yeah, host spaces every day, talking Giants ball. Sometimes they get to talking about other sports, depending on who's in there and the way the conversation is going. It gets dull. They talk about basketball. They talk about baseball. Hang out, grab a mic. Don't grab a mic. Just hang out, listen, enjoy the conversation. Well, we talk about a lot of different topics, and it's going to be ramping up here, obviously, with free agency and everything like that coming about. So be here for the ride all the way up until the draft.
All right, man, it's been Rob Zero. And y'all know what time it is, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Rob, hit him with the deuces, man. We out of here.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
Or just a Giants organization that really put Daniel Jones in the forefront and carried him in that type of light, man, on national TV.
$223. The suspension also opens the door for the Texans to release Al-Shahir.
Then in 1976, guess who was hired? At T's fans. This is where preference plays the biggest.
I'm gonna have to knock this down and get the oohs and ahs of Houston.
Welcome to the Aboriginal Sports Network.